What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? I just wanted to get on here and quickly talk about this, but you don't know me how to. Because I just cannot believe how this news has made it nationwide and actually global. Because I've seen somebody say, girl, I know about it and I've been following the case. I'm over here in Africa. Girl, what? South Africa at that. I said, oh, snap. And this is about Brenay, Kennard, Tim, Devon, Akira, Corinne, and everybody else that's involved, okay? Girl, this is like, and I at first I was like, this is the first time that I've ever heard somebody getting sued because somebody came in and stole their husband, basically, or their spouse. And they're in North Carolina, right? And so they do have this law in North Carolina, the alienation of affection, and you can sue for that. And so that was wound up happening. And I just feel like this is all a goddamn mess. And for what? This is like people do things, and again, you have to know the laws in your state, in your city, in your town before you do certain stuff, okay? And I'm not even mad at Akira for doing what she did, because when everything came out in court, it was just really, it was way more grimier and way more foul than I actually thought it would have been, okay? And way more low and disgusting. And I know people like, why is everybody talking about this? Because at one point, I said that too, because on TikTok, there are people that literally dedicated their accounts to either bashing Brenay or talking about the whole situation. And I mean, that's all that they talk about. And I'm like, oh, okay, so somebody got cheated on and what? But then I have to look into it a little bit deeper. And then again, with the court case comes out, like, I ain't even gonna hold you. Every video that popped up on my For You page that showed the stuff, I sit there and watch. So I knew everything that was going on. But I'm like, so what y'all gonna do when this all go away? And this is for like the people that made their whole account about it, not the people that, do other stuff and they didn't build their accounts and things about talking about this, but they do other stuff, but then they sprinkle this in and there. Because I eventually got onto it and started talking about it. I've done a couple of videos about it, and that's only because the case had already started and I could see exactly where this shit was going, okay? It was a sinking ship from the beginning, all right? So let me just get into it. What's going on is we have a TikToker named Brenay, okay? She was married to this guy named Devon. And then Devon's cousin, who is named Tim, is married to, at the time, this girl named Akira. Tim, Devon, and Akira, well, they all kind of grew up around each other, school and all that stuff. Brenay and Tim used to go together when they were like 14 years old. So that you could say that was kind of like her first love or some shit like that she never got over, okay? And that's very obvious because look at the lengths that she went through. And so while she is married to Devon, she winds up messing around with Tim, who is still married to Akira, has kids with Akira, and was making it so bold, okay? And the reason why I feel like people latched onto this and, it got so big is because of the blatancy of it. This girl documented every damn thing. I ain't never seen nobody cheat on somebody and document and vlog and post it all on the internet. And then to go to court and to make it seem like you're innocent, but all of the proof is from what you provided on social media because you made it public when the other party didn't even want it to be public. That is some bold and delusional and mental shit right there. Okay. And the story is just so twisted for the most part because Brenay is a twin, and that twin was also messing around with Tim. And 9 out of 10, he could possibly be her baby's daddy, the youngest. She has no dealings with the other baby daddy. Never let the original baby daddy see the other little girl. 9 out of 10 is because she knows that that's 9 out of 10 is not his daughter, right? And it's just so messy to find out that not only is this man messing around with the wife, well, messing around with you now that they getting a divorce or they got a divorce, he was still messing around with his ex-wife and messing around with your sister. And now because of all of this, over this one man, you get sued for, it was actually $2 million. And I know when People Magazine posted their thing, they posted about it, which it got to People Magazine. They posted about it and said that it was $3.5 million, but the original, it was $2 million, right? And so she winds up losing, and Akira gets $1.75 million rewarded to her. Here's the thing. I don't even care to go into all of the details, but when I remember watching Brenay. Did I ever follow her? No, shit just finds me. When I first initially started TikTok, you know, you just going and scrolling and you see things that you like or whatever, and then I don't know, you like certain things or whatever, and then other shit, I guess that's similar, get put on your For You page, or they just push it out to you, the algorithm or whatever. And I had scroll, and then I stopped because I see that, there's this girl up here who has very big boobs. I mean, huge boobs, okay? And she has these long nails, and they had so many charms on it, and she had like 50 million bracelets on each arm, right? And she used to, you know, do the food and all that stuff or whatever. And so the only thing that I used to see that was controversial about Brenay was the nails. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. People tuned in. People gave her attention. People followed because of the boobs, okay? I believe she used to do Get Readies with me. I never watched her content like that. Like, I never went to her page to this point. To this day, I don't even know what her actual TikTok name is. It just would have come up on the For You page, and I'd be like, oh, because I'm still sitting here like, how the hell are you fixing all this stuff with them nails? It was just too much. It was too much. No shade. I don't understand how y'all do them long nails. Anyway, y'all be... Sometimes I be thinking that when y'all be trying to wipe y'all selves, y'all probably cut your little clit off. But I don't know. Okay, it's just a lot. It was a lot. Plus the charms on there. It's one thing to have long nails, and then it's another thing to have all that extra shit on there. Okay, that was that. Then I seen the video where Devon was actually on the video with her, and I seen the comments, and people was like, "Oh, he ain't even happy with you or whatever. He don't even," and all this stuff. And she used to get on the internet trying to defend. Oh, he is, and he just introverted, and he this and that and that. And Devon is a quiet guy, okay? And he was much bigger then, too. And then all of this whole situation happened where the content started switching up from the Get Ready With Me, the food and everything, to all of a sudden Tim coming onto it and her talking about him. And we literally saw the gradual introduction of Tim onto her platform and them eventually becoming this couple. Mind you, Tim is still very much married. And, you know, she was married too. And I know that people feel like, oh, they giving so much hate to Brenay and not doing nothing to Tim. But I can honestly say it does look like Tim doesn't get as much heat, but he gets heat. And I feel like it's a little bit unequal only because Brenay put this shit public. That's why I feel like it may seem like Brenay is getting the brunt of all of this because Brenay plotted and schemed and put this on public. That's just what it was. But at the end of the day, we got to put a lot of this on Tim too, because you also was a married man and you also allowed this person to come into your home and you let her into your home and to do the things that she was doing under your wife's nose. Also, you came into your cousin's home and did all this shit under his nose. Y'all don't have any fucking self-goddamn respect from what I'm seeing. And it's just really disgusting. And that says a lot about your character. It got to a point in that court case that, and this is what I've been stuck on. At one point, Devon said he knew that they was fucking around because they would come over to the house and he saw them or heard them at least 4 times. She was also lied about him putting hands on her to stay over at Akira and Tim's house for some weeks or whatever, junking up their place, and at the same time while she's offering, you know, solace and a place of refuge or whatever, because she feels and thinking that, you know, you over there getting your ass whooped, you are over there fucking her husband in her house right under her nose while she's in the bed asleep. Then you up here talking about some in the court that she gave her consent to have her husband and all of that stuff. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Like, what it all boils down to is these people have no self-respect, and these people, I just don't get it. I don't get it, because I understand people are raised certain ways, and I understand that they got a background and, you know, childhood traumas, and you probably got issues with being overweight or whatever, being growing as you growing up and not always being picked, and, you know, you probably was being abused or whatever, and all of this stuff, and then being brought up by a uber religious one parent or whatever. Okay, that causes a lot of trauma. But when we're adults, we go ahead and get help for those traumas. We don't inflict that trauma on other people, right? But you literally plotted and schemed to do this. And again, people get cheated on and shit like this happen every day. The thing of it is we don't see everyday people go through stuff like this on such a wide platform and so publicly. If Brenay would have left this shit private, we wouldn't know nothing about this. And what she did in turns really made her the villain, and Tim, which they are. And it really just messed her life up if you honestly want to think about it. And this just goes to show, like, you have got to be careful what you put on social media. Okay? And you have got to be careful of the company that you keep and the people that you let in your home. This is why some people say they don't let certain their friends around their mans or their woman or whatever, because you got silly shit like this. I used to always be like, oh, you don't trust your man, but then you got motherfuckers that do some shit like this fucking right under their nose. And my whole thing is, I don't know what type of childhood Devon and Akira had and what principles they were growing up with, but kudos to them for not whooping their ass. But at the same time, what? Because I would have laid hands. A lot of this stuff at one point I thought was fake. I thought it was a skit or something, because I'm like, you knew some of this shit was going on and nobody got into a fight. Granted, we don't always need to fight. Nobody got into an argument. Divorce papers wasn't drawn up right then and there. You was giving chance after chance after chance. What the hell is going on? So are y'all compliant and complicit in this and everything? Like, no. I just couldn't sit back and let some shit like that happen. You knew that this motherfucker was fucking around with your bitch for at least 4 times. But, you know, he got the last laugh, I guess. That man finally got the divorce from that woman. Lost weight. He got a case coming up against him for the same thing. Brenay also has another case that's coming up because she was also charged with cyber stalking Akira and had a restraining order against herself from Akira that she constantly keeps violating. Okay, so at the end of the day, what have we learned? Leave people the fuck alone and get your own. Okay, why are you still preying on somebody else and plotting to hurt somebody just because you're not happy? And again, it's like they don't think about the end game. They only think about A to B and not A to Z. Okay? Because you have to you now owe this woman almost $2 million. Plus, you have another court case, both of y'all, which 9 out of 10, Tim is going to lose that court case again, and he's going to probably owe Devon, because he's suing for the same thing, some money, and he's a fucking bum. That's what it is. And that's why people keep on saying, He's only with her for the money and everything because he was not working. Akira was basically taking care of everything. They up there lying about there was no affection in the relationship and all this stuff. That's what they do when shit like this goes down. And all of a sudden, the person that's bringing the lawsuit is the bad person. And there was never nothing in the relationship that said that I love you and all this stuff. We was forced to get married and all this or whatever and woo woo woo. And the whole time that's a lie. That's a lie. Okay? All so that you can make her look bad and make yourself look better, and it's not going to work, and it didn't work. And you want to know also what really fucked them up, or I should say fuck Brenay dumbass up? She represented herself. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I heard that she did have some lawyers, but they dropped her, okay? Because they knew that she wasn't going to be able to win the case. And my thing is, even if she wasn't possibly going to be able to lose or win the case even with a lawyer, because she did lose herself because she represented herself, all right, at least she would have had a lawyer if she had actual representation, a lawyer, a public defender, something other than herself, a paralegal, hell, I don't know. And they could have asked the right questions, or they could have stopped her from answering certain questions, and probably presented her side of the things in a different way, that once she lost, they could have got the fine down to a little bit lower, because she was going to lose regardless, because there was no way reasonable doubt was going to be able to be presented, because all of the evidence was provided by Brenay on her social media platform. And social media is where she makes her money, okay? She has over like 2 million followers. And a lot of those I feel like are hate followers, okay? They're trying to watch everything that's going on. And my thing is, you have now destroyed your whole reputation in your life. Because this didn't just stay on TikTok. This went nationwide, kind of like worldwide, actually. People are talking about it. It was on the Shade Room. It's on Ball Alert. It's on the Neighborhood Talk. It's on TMZ. It's in People Magazine. It's all over, and news are picking up the whole thing. And it's just like, you don't realize that you can lose everything, and you probably have lost everything. And do I feel like she probably got all of that money? No. But to get there on a news camera and to say she probably won't see that money. Bitch, you know you can get in trouble for that? That's court ordered. Okay? You lost. They're going to garnish all your stuff. They're going to put a lien on everything else that you got. They're going to make you sell shit. And you're going to have to pay that lady her money one way or other. Get a payment plan. All right? And you better hope you don't get jail time for this cyber stalking and some more charges or whatever. And then, dude, he brought a pew-pew to the court. What was you going to do with that? What was you going to do with that? Like, Tim is such a pathetic piece of person and a poor excuse for a man. And it's like, who raised these people? Who raised these people? When we see stuff like this, we got to look at the environment in which they was raised, okay? Because how did you turn out to be this way? How did you turn out to be this way? And I know it's some people that were raised with good parents, loving, people around them and all that, and they still end up on the wrong end and do stupid stuff. But in this case, it just don't look like that. I just don't get those vibes. I get everybody is just not mentally there, okay? Everybody is on some BS, and it's just really, it's ridiculous. And it's like, to hear all of this stuff coming out and for you to get up there and basically say that this woman handed you her husband because she knew that the marriage was over with. And so she was like, go ahead and take him. Absolutely not. You was in this lady's home. When they said that she told one of her children to give her a wipe to wipe herself after she got through having sex with Tim. Mind you, I'm talking about Akira's child. That's disgusting as fuck. Okay. This is why I say you have to be careful. Again, what you do, how you move, and what you post on social media, because everything can come back to affect you. That's why, like, when we was on TikTok the other week or so, a couple of weeks ago, it was this big debate that was going on about is TikTok beef or online beef the same as real life beef? And the fact that people didn't understand that, yes, real life beef and if it's online, it's real life. Meaning, we see if you post certain things online, that can cause you to lose your job. You post certain things online, that can cause you to quote unquote get canceled. If you post certain things online and say certain things online, ain't no telling what's gonna happen if somebody meet up with you or try to find you, dox you, and try to take it to a physical thing. We literally just saw a YouTuber who was getting into it with another YouTuber, and they were out there in Vegas. They were out there in Vegas, and that YouTuber pulled up on him and his wife and shot both of them. And now he's in jail. And 9 out of 10, he is charged with first degree murder for 2 first degree murder charges. I'm pretty sure. And it was all caught on live. So yes, what you do online does affect your real life. So all of this stuff that happened online, and see, when it comes to Brenay, none of this had to happen. And that's why I do look at people funny when they come on the internet and they say certain things. Like, we all are guilty of putting things out there on social media. Sometimes we be venting or whatever, but some of us, we just vent a little bit and we know how far to take it. Some people, they put everything online. I mean, everything. So if something happened, baby, all of that, they ain't got too far to dig. Okay? Take case in point, that whole situation with that singer David or whatever. The way that we didn't even know who he was really, and then didn't know who the body was in that car, and then once they found out who the body was, the internet found all of that shit that they was doing on the internet. Because it was right there. It was right there. And what's going on with that case? Oh, anyway. This is one of those situations where people got to stand up for themselves. And you can't just let people walk over you too. Because I feel like for whatever reason, maybe it was a self-esteem issue, or maybe they were really those people that didn't believe in divorce and tried to exhaust everything that they could to try to save their marriage. But ain't no way in hell Devon and Akira should have let these motherfuckers run over them the way that they did and get to this point. But and I did say they needed their ass whooped, which they do. But yeah, maybe it was a good thing that they did not resort to violence, because that could have been used against them in this whole situation. But I'm pretty sure that the jury and everybody else would have understood. Because listen, bitch, are you serious? Are you serious? Especially when they found out that Brenay wouldn't get up out of their house and gonna tell Akira, well, if Tim wants me here, I'm staying because Tim wants me here. Her grandmother had to come over there, and she gets into it with her grandmama, and she pushed her grandmama. Girl, I would have beat her ass right then and there. Okay, if anything else, that would have been a moment that I would have she would have saw every guy, 10 fingers balled up. It just would have happened. Because, girl, what? My grandmother? Are you serious? It ain't even worth it. And doing all of this over somebody that can't provide for you, has not been providing for you, because you've been providing for him, as well as everybody else that's been in his life, been provided for him and making it so that he ain't got to do shit. And that's why he's running the game and doing the stuff that he's doing. 9 out of 10, he don't even really want you for real. They saying that he really wanted the sister. They saying it's more issues and more, like that sibling rivalry, because they're twins. And Corinne was always thought of to be, I guess, the prettier twin, and all of that stuff. And then 9 out of 10, the colorism is coming into play. The fat phobias coming into play. It's just so much. It's so much. And none of these people are mentally stable. And I need everybody to go get therapy. But when it comes to Brenay, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous, because she's really living in a delusional state. Even with all of this stuff that's going on, she's one of those people that don't believe fat meat is greasy. And if she does believe it, she don't care. Because if she set out to do something, she gonna do it no matter who it hurts, even if it hurts herself. And it's given very much single white female. It's given very much fatal attraction. It's given very much destiny swap. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I just want people to go ahead and stop playing with people. I want people to get mental help. Get some help for real. Okay? Again, you got to be careful who you let into your house. This is one of those reasons why I just don't. I have a hard time. Mind you, these people knew each other. Okay? They known each other for years. I have a hard time befriending people, even at my adult age, because all it took was for one situation to really burn me and to just make me not trust people at all. So I wish I could trust people. I wish I could let people in because, yeah, I do want more people around me. I do want to, I'm working on that. And then you got motherfuckers that be doing grimy shit to you. When you been in situations like that, it's like, I never let a motherfucker do that to me again. And so the way that you avoid it is by not really interacting with people. And that's not healthy either. That's not healthy either. You need people around you. And you have to understand that, yeah, you're going to probably get people that's a person or two that's going to probably do some crazy stuff. You just don't think it's going to be that crazy. Things is literally like a test, But Brenay, she deserves everything that she's about to get. Tim, he deserves everything that he's about to get and been getting, okay? Because this is disgusting. I don't see how people can agree with them. I don't see how people can see the right in this situation because she was totally wrong. And I don't even hate the girl because I don't know her or whatever, but the situation is just totally disgusting. And I can understand why people don't like her, okay? And again, the reason why it seems like she probably is getting the brunt of the hate that she's getting in this whole situation instead of them getting it equally, her and Tim, is because of the fact that she posted all of this online. And she was literally, stalking and harassing this girl and basically taunting her. You know what I'm saying? She could have kept this to herself. Girl, my bad. And you left yourself open for people to just dog you out. Because the first thing that they go and they do when situations like this happen is already play on something that's your insecurity, your weight, your breasts, your all of this other stuff. And I mean, just been talking so nasty about it. On the one hand, I get it. But on the other hand, I can never do some shit like that. The only thing that I could do is call her stupid, okay? A silly, dumb, and maybe a bitch. But I can't do the body shaming and all that stuff because there's some of y'all that's damn near the same size as her that's doing that. And I get it because, us big people, we'll talk about another big person in a minute. We will. Okay? But I just can't do that part. I don't agree with that part, but I ain't finna tell nobody what they do should do or not. But yeah, girl, I don't understand people who intentionally set themselves up to get a whole lot of hate. Like what are you getting out of it? What are you gaining? What are you gaining? You losing all of your shit over somebody that ain't even worth it. I can see if this man was providing for you. The man ain't providing. The man ain't providing. You're providing. That's why people saying that he's only with you because you got a little bit of money. That's it. And you throwing away your whole future because what happens if the judge say that you can't be on social media? What happens if that happens? So how are you going to make your money? Now you're going to have to actually go to work. And you owe 1.2, okay, no, 1.7. And that statement of she ain't going to see that money, baby, they going to garnish your shit. They going to take it, Like, you're not above the law. You're not above anybody else. All right? And it's just a sad case all around. Anyway, I just really wanted to come on here and talk about that real quick because, yeah, cheating and cost your ass a fucking pretty goddamn penny. Okay? 1.75 million of them. Bitch. Well, actually, no. We're not finna do the math. 1.57 million pennies is not $1.57 million, bitch. The way I said that shit so confidently, and I had to stop like, absolutely the fuck not. Okay, y'all not finna get on here and tell me that I'm stupid, girl. I already know I fucked it up. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. But anyway, if you heard the story, put your thoughts in how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Do I feel like there was some people that was doing way too much? Yeah, but I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, you guys tell me how y'all feel and let's talk about it. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.